Lucy Wanjiko was a teenage mother right out of high school when she tested positive for HIV. Her child died 2 weeks later.
So in my first book,
Wanjiko, who lives in Nairobi, drew upon her own experience years later to found Positive Young Women Voices, a community-based organization that advocates for and supports girls and young women affected by HIV.
There's a girl somewhere, the same way I felt I had no one to hold my hand, probably needs me now to come in and hold her hand. Probably listening to my story, she'll make better choices than the ones I did, and she won't have to go through what I had gone through.
The government is also combating the disease. Dr. Lynette Juma, an infectious disease specialist in Nairobi, says training healthcare professionals in HIV management, increasing health facilities in various parts of the country, and providing free medication are some of the factors that have contributed to improvement of HIV care in Kenya.
There's reduction in mortality, there's reduction in morbidity. So we are not in the era where you see someone who looks skinny, emaciated, and you're like, oh, that is HIV/AIDS. I mean, people are living healthy and able to mingle with everyone else without their status being known.
Of the 1.4 million people living with HIV in Kenya, 1.1 million are enrolled on antiretroviral therapy, with 73% of them achieving viral suppression, according to the country's Ministry of Health data. Over the past decade, new HIV infections have decreased by 78% and AIDS-related deaths by 68%, the National Syndemic Disease Control Council reported. Despite the milestones, health experts say the prevention of mother-to-child transmission remains a challenge. Wanjiko says testing has changed over the years.
I tested when I was 2 months pregnant. I never got tested again. But now there's testing, I think, for every visit you go to the clinic as a pregnant woman or mother, you have to get tested.
World AIDS Day is observed each year on December 1st, and this year's theme is Let Communities Lead. Juma says communities play a fundamental role in eradication of HIV in Africa.
There's a lot of measures that can be put in place when you know your status. Be informed. And that way, I think Africa will be able to eradicate the HIV infection.
Despite all the good work, AIDS is still considered an epidemic in Kenya. But the country is working with the United Nations to ensure new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths drop by 90% between 2010 and 2030. Juma Majanga, VOA News, Nairobi, Kenya.